Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is, of course, today, the 21st of June, 2018. And I believe the time is just coming up 2200 hours. Well, what a day it's been. What a wonderful day it has been. I went over to Ronnie's place to get my ukulele because it's Karen Margaret's birthday on Saturday, and she's a woman I like to sing duets with, and she expressed a wish that she would have liked a ukulele, and I just so happened to got a ukulele here. I don't know what the hell's happened with this thing. Something is rattling around in here. Anyway, the little baggy waggy is too small, so it's an Everdeen. It's a ukulele. It's a My dog has fleas. That's how you tune a ukulele. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about something entirely different. Well, anyway, Ronnie's been on a little holiday with his wife and tin lids, with his bread knife and his tin lids. I think they went down to Corsair, where a friend of ours, Christopher, lives. I've been trying to get Christopher. He's a very creative young man, and he does these little plasticine figurines. And I want him to try to spend some time animating those things, you know. And nothing wrong with a little bit of Disneyfication. But anyway, they went down there and, they were thinking about this is the kind of place to bug out to. It's they've got a little piece of ground, a sort of, not exactly a summer cottage place, but at least a place where you can grow some carrots and radishes and so on. But what they've got is they've got a fundament L shape where you could actually build a house on top of a small house, kind of a shed, a shack, but certainly something that you could live in if necessary. I mean, there's no plumbing, but hey, does a bear shit in the woods? You know. And the coast is about 500 yards from there. And I gave them a generator here a couple of years ago, and it's still in there, and it's still there, still works. All you have to do is pour a little gas in it, and you got 220 volts, enough to run different tools and so forth, and that's good enough. The thing is, Christopher, he's a Really, he's a beautiful guy. I mean, Jesus Christ, he looks like I don't know, some kind of an actor or a model or something like that. He's a beautiful guy. He has absolutely no education at all. He's, by now, he's over 30. He doesn't feel like doing anything that he doesn't feel like doing, so that's up to him. I suppose he's on welfare. Has absolutely no education. I asked him to do some animation with these little plasticine figures that he does. He's a very creative guy, you know. And he's not stupid, certainly not. But I'm saying, unless he either gets a goddamn education and starts doing what, I'm pretty sure what he really wants to do, but you got to make it pay. That's fine. You have a stamp collection. Good, but does it pay the rent? So I'm asking Christopher, if you can pay the rent, because you can't live on goddamn welfare all your life. Besides, look at all the shit you're attracting. You don't do for shit. You don't do anything. And the same goes to you, Nikolai. The Russian. Wonderful guy, very creative, musical, talented. But can you live off it? Can you make a living? I don't know what to do about that shit, to say Nikolai, he's a refugee out of the Soviet Union, and he's from Siberia, and back in the old days of the Beatles, where the Soviets went nuts about the Beatles, I'm telling you, they became a religion in the Soviet Union. And now he lives in Denmark. He didn't want to go to Afghanistan with the rest of the Soviet army. So somehow or another he got out of the Soviet Union, and he's been a refugee since at least the 90s. Never had a job in his life. Never had a job in Denmark. Maybe he used to brag about that. He had a job at a nuclear weapons facility in Siberia, a very noisy industrial type of thing. And since he was a conscientious objector, didn't want to go in the army, didn't want to do anything like I wanted to go to the army, but he didn't. And so he tells me this story about they sent him out to this great big dirty noisy industrial complex someplace in Novosibirsk. And when he turned up for work, and he must have been a young man there, and he explained to the foreman why and how he was there. And the foreman blew the whistle on the whole industry, the whole floor down there where all the rest of the assholes who were scraping and chugging and sweating and toiling and doing all that. And the foreman said to everybody else in the factory, "Hey, get a load of this guy. He'd rather work here than go to Afghanistan." And everybody laughed. Oh, they laughed. That's one thing I like about Nikolai. He tells some good Soviet time stories. But anyway, he didn't go to Afghanistan. And that was when, the Ruskies were in Afghanistan. And of course, he's a hippie just like the rest of us assholes. Didn't want to go to fucking Vietnam. Hell no, we won't go. That kind of shit. And in Russia, the Beatles were becoming a religion. I mean, they were becoming a religion. You know, back in the USSR, the Russians loved them, and they still do. Oh, they still do. But okay, we all know that socialism, you know, communism, and they finally got out of it, and boy, were they happy. They became free again, and the Russian Eastern Orthodox Church came back, and those were heady days. Oh, you had to be there. But anyway, somehow or another, he made his way to the West. You know, probably jumping fences and scrambling across all kinds of things. And he found his way to Scandinavia. And now he's here. He lives in Denmark. I love the bastard, but apart from that, this man has never had a goddamn job in his life. Oh yeah, the Soviets chose him out because they wanted to make a rock star out of him. See, in the Soviet thing, it wasn't garage bands that were making it. It was the appointed socialist guys. Well, there's a young guy who can play a little guitar. Okay, we'll make a star out of him. And boom, fell. Unfortunately, it never happened. It just didn't. And the Russians are still dealing with coming out of what it was like to be in Soviet Socialist CCCP, you know. Man. Anyway, I mean, I love Nick, you know. He's actually lived here in my pad for a couple of years. But the thing is, he didn't do shit. I mean, he didn't do nothing. I mean, nothing. He got married to, I think it was his, youthful sweetheart, you know. And I was there. I mean, they got married in Fredericksburg mayor's office. I was a witness. And there she was, the sweetest girl I've ever seen. She was smart, she was beautiful. And there was a guy from the Russian embassy. And he spoke perfect English. And he explained to me all the stuff that was going down. And of course, Natasha didn't speak a word of anything other than Russian. But, went up in front of the mayor's office and they got registered as married. And then she went back to St. Petersburg and I haven't seen her since. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be married. But meanwhile, what the fuck is Nick doing? He's not doing anything. Just hooking up here for free stuff. Last I heard, the Danish state is going to fix his teeth because he hasn't got one left, you know. So he's going to come back around here with a Hollywood smile. But, he's past 50 now, and I very much doubt he's ever going to do anything contributory to the country that he adopted. Here for free stuff. Another goddamn bludger, man. Fuck me, man. I mean, okay. They're telling me nowadays that I do not in any way or am in any way related to the old Vikings, which I've always said I am, especially on my mother's side. No, they're taking that away from our identity as Scandinavians, as seafarers, as explorers. No, that's a lot of romantic bullshit, they say. Okay. Well, maybe it is. But it's my identity, and that's the way I've always identified who I am as a human being. And the family that I come from. And I certainly am from, well, basically the proletariat type of farmer thing, But we got our pride, god damn it, and we fucking worked for it. We worked for it! Through all the political trouble and strife, and the whole movement to educate ourselves, what they call the high school movement. Go look it up yourself. But anyway, here he is, and he's been bludgeoning on me for about 10 years, and finally I asked him, Christ almighty, what are you going to do when you finally grow up? Oh, I'm a rock star. Oh yeah, fuck off. Prove it. Sing me a goddamn song. Sell a couple of records. Let me see. No. Fuck off. So as far as I'm concerned, you can all bugger off. I'll be back with more stomach aching, belly aching, Archie Bunker type crap later. Meanwhile, get a life.